Hi, I'm Dr. Lara, and welcome to another video of learning how to live in the Matrix, I guess. So my name's Dr. Lara, and I am an angel channeler and healer and an intuitive mentor, and I help people embrace their talents and their gifts that they've come in with, and to embrace them and to live life on their terms as they go out and share them with the world. All right, so today I want to talk about the timeline shift. The timeline shift that was supposed to happen on the 26th. And I'm doing this because it feels like there's a lot of misconception about what was supposed to happen on the 26th. For those of you that don't know, on the 26th of January, all these planets lined up. And it was supposed to mark the shift of timelines. Okay, so with these videos, sometimes I talk and then sometimes I get downloads. So if I close my eyes and go into something else, you'll know that that's like kind of a download. So what they were saying is, what the angels are saying about this timeline shift, okay? Timeline shifts are happening all the time. Every time that you make a decision, every time you have an aha moment, every time you release judgment or release an issue that is holding in your body, every time you release that, your timeline shifts. Okay, so it's constantly happening. So if you want your life to be on a higher timeline, then it would behoove you to do the inner work. It would be good for you to look at the things that are positive in your life and to have a positive aspect, a positive outlook, to do good. Okay, that's going to lead you to a higher timeline, or not a higher timeline, a better timeline, a different timeline that is more supportive of who you are. Okay, so they are saying that there was this huge shift that did happen on the 26th, and they're going to show us, or they're going to tell us what we can expect, okay, with this timeline shift. So there was a lot of confusion about this because a lot of people thought that they were going to wake up the next day and there was going to be peace on earth and all of this other stuff wasn't going to be there. Maybe it happened, but for those of you that it didn't happen to, they want to explain what happened. So and this didn't happen to everybody, but maybe it happened with you on some aspect. So one of the things that happened was physical ailments in your body magically disappeared. Like if you had like a pain in your arm, or if you had something going on with your body, some kind of illness, and then it didn't happen anymore. That is very common. That actually happened to me. I had like this pain in my shoulder. I couldn't raise it. And I went to a sound bath, and it started to hurt right here. It like moved down into my arm, and I turned my arm over and my arm started vibrating. And then like that pain just kind of shot out of my arm. Okay. So these are the things that happened to me with this shift. And I was kind of inquiring with the angelic realm. I'm like, what is this? And they have told me that this is part of a timeline shift that can happen. Okay, it just so happened this happened to me on the 26th, but this can happen anytime. That's what they want you to know. This can happen anytime. Okay, so the second thing that happened, and I'm getting a little personal here. So often I love to travel and I love to go do things. And I talk to people like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to go to this and blah, 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 blah. And the next thing I know, those people are going to do it. And then I'm like, huh. And I would get kind of jealous or kind of envious. It's like, oh, I want to do that, And I knew that I didn't like that emotion about myself, but it was what it was. Okay. So this happened to me twice last week. there were actually three different instances of someone that was going to go travel someplace that I wanted to, someone that won this amazing trip to Australia, all expenses paid, and then someone that got like a really big deal at work. And the feeling that I had for each one of these people was honestly and truly authentic joy for each one of them. Now that's what we always strive for. You know, it's like we have these feelings of envy or whatever, or jealousy, and it's like, well, I don't really like that feeling, but I'm going to be happy for you anyway. At least that's what I tried to do. But this instant was, I didn't have any of the envy. I didn't have any of the jealousy. It was just like pure happiness and joy and appreciation for those people. Okay, so that is an energetic shift. That's an energetic timeline shift. So these timelines that we're moving into, it's energetic. It's not on the outside yet. Okay, we're moving into a place of more peace, more love, more appreciation. Okay, and we're moving out of those emotions of jealousy and envy and all that kind of stuff. So we're moving into a better space. And the reason why it didn't show up like this is because down here on this planet, it takes time for things to manifest. So when we hold this vibration of truly being authentically happy for these people, the more that we hold that, the more that that vibration emanates out, and that becomes more of our reality. Okay, so what else happened? Okay, so this has been this part that I'm going to share with you has been going on with me for a long time, but it really amped up in August. So I don't know about you guys, but I have experienced like crazy amounts of insomnia. Like I have not slept well since August. It's getting better now. But part of that reason, there's a few reasons, is because a lot of emotional stuff was coming up. Has been coming up, and it's just like, you have to look at this, you have to get rid of this, you have to heal this part of yourself. And I could not sleep until it was resolved. And evidently my higher self was like, you're going to go through like this crash course from like August, September, October, November, December for 5 months. And it was grueling. And I was up almost every night. I mean, sometimes I was only getting like 3 hours of sleep if I was lucky. And so what's happening now is things have sped up with this. Okay. If something happens, like something happened yesterday, that it was a disagreement that I had with somebody and it brought some stuff up. And I didn't have time to deal with it when I was awake. And I thought to myself, like, oh man, I know this is going to come up. I know I'm going to be woken up in the middle of the night. And sure enough, I was. And so I went downstairs and I started journaling about it. And I was angry at somebody. And then the self-doubt about myself came in. And then I had fear. Okay. But what was different about this was I recognized it right away. Whereas before, I would allow myself to stay in that anger and have to like process so much. And then I would allow these thoughts and beliefs about self-doubt and I'm not a good person, like that would like overpower my thoughts and I couldn't do anything. I would stay in it. And then the fear, oh my gosh, the fear would just like take hold of me. And it would take a long time for that energy to process through my body. But what I did last night was it was very easy for me to recognize it very quickly. So I did not have to stay up for 5 hours to process through it. I was done within an hour of recognizing what it was and then not allowing myself to spiral down into all of that negative self-talk and to move through that fear. So that's what's happening as well. We're beginning to understand that whatever is going on in our brains, whatever this like negative self-talk is, that it's not true. And we are coming to a place where it's like we're dismantling we're dismantling the projections that have been put onto us, the program. We have been programmed to not love ourselves. We've been programmed to think poorly of ourselves. We've been programmed to feel guilty and to think that we have sinned, and like all of this stuff that has just been like put into our consciousness by things that we watch, by religious institutions, by commercials. But there's so many things outside of us that we probably don't even realize that are telling us we are not enough. Okay. And some examples of these are ads for getting the gray out of your hair, or Botox because you have wrinkles, or countless ads about losing weight. All of these things that are supposed to help you feel better are actually telling you that you're not enough. It's very subtle. So what's happening is we're seeing that now, and we're not getting sucked into it. We're not believing it anymore, because we are understanding the divinity of who and what we are. And that's what's coming into our psyche now. We're allowing it to come in, and it's not even coming into us. We already have the divinity. We already know how amazing we are, and it's within ourselves already. And with the light that's coming in the planet, they talk about activations. This light is coming in and it's activating our cells, and it's helping us remember how amazing we are. Okay, let's see. The next thing is the outside world doesn't trigger you as much. Okay, so it's like you're able to see what's going on, but it's not, you don't have like this, this terror or this fear or this anger. It's just there, and you're able to observe it without any kind of emotional attachment. Okay. And you realize that things are going to happen. Like, it's playing out the way it's supposed to play out. And the right people are going to be in there to help move through it. So we can be guided towards our highest and best good. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is another one. We're giving ourselves permission to enjoy life more. Okay. The shoulds are starting to lift. Okay. I'm like Psychology 101, stop shoulding on yourself. Okay. Every time you think you should do something, you're telling yourself that what you're doing is wrong and you're not enough. Okay. And that was a very big thing that I was carrying on my shoulders. Very, very big. And it happened last week, where I had decided I'm going to stop trying to show up in a way that's not authentic for me. Okay. And I'm going to go do things that I enjoy, which is gardening, which is drawing, which is hiking, and it had nothing to do with my work or my expression or anything of my angelic expression, but it was like more of what I enjoyed to do. And I gave myself permission to do that, and the guilt wasn't there. Like before, I would give myself permission to do it, but I'd feel guilty because I was doing it and I should be doing this. But that has released as well. So now it's like I am free to enjoy everything that I want to do, and I have time for everything, and it gives me more energy and inspiration to do things like this. And more abundance and prosperity has flown into my life. And that was the biggest thing that I had heard. Is like the more authentically we can show up, the more joy and abundance and prosperity you will have in your life. Okay. And this was a big one too. We talked about seeing the stuff outside of us and not getting triggered. But you're going to come to a point where you're just not going to tolerate it anymore. It's like the chaos is going to feel so, just the word icky. Like it's going to be so not in alignment with your inner peace and serenity that you're not even going to give it the time of day. It's like, yeah, no, I don't have time for that. And that's going to start moving away as well. So that's what I've experienced the last week or so. And one thing that I've noticed through my entire life is sometimes I go through things like 6 months before a lot of people do. And I kind of like, I went in and inquired about that. I asked the angels about that, and they said that's because I'm a leader. Okay, someone has to lead. Someone has to like, and they're showing me like this machete. So someone has to go through the jungle with a machete and cutting all this stuff down and pave the way. Okay, so that's what they're showing me is like, I've got this machete and I'm paving the way. And it's not just me. There's a lot of people. You're probably one of them, you know, listening to this. You're probably one of them that has like, oh yeah, I went through that 6 months ago, you know, so just understand that wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. And the more that you can share who you are and your experiences with other people, and maybe just listening to them and just nodding your head saying, oh yeah, I understand, you know, that's a big comfort. So I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for the donations. I really, really appreciate it. It's helping me come up with more material for you. So with that, I just thank you for being here, and I hope you have a blessed day.